Sponsored by Tokyo Treat and Sakurako.
Japan is home to some weird stuff, like a festival where demons scare the poop out of your kids, or these places where you get completely naked with total strangers and take baths together. I'm gonna tell you all about these and more super weird things that are totally normal in Japan, starting with these demon festivals. It's a traditional celebration in some parts of Japan to have demons running around making children cry. For you guys, this probably looks super weird and maybe even mean to the kids. But for us, this is a very normal celebration. We call these Oni Matsuri. Oni means demon and Matsuri means festival. But unlike many Western countries where demons are seen as evil, in Japan, not all Onis are bad. Some of them can be good and then sometimes seen as a servant of the gods or even the gods in disguise. So, why do we do these Oni festivals? Many different places do it for different reasons. In some places like Toyohashi Oni Festival, it's done to wish for a good harvest. And the red Oni at the festival gives away candies as a way to say sorry for all the bad things he has done. In other places like Oita Prefecture, the Oni will spank your butt with a flaming stick. It is said that you will get a good harvest and won't get sick for a year. In many other places, the Oni are there to scare kids. These kids are as scared as I was when I went to my first anime convention in America.
Konnichiwa. I love Japan. I love Japanese culture, Japanese hentai anime. Hey, this is going a lot better than the last girl we talked to.
It might be hard for some of you to see all these kids scared and crying. In fact, when we talked about this in the previous video, we got a lot of comments saying that this is child abuse. So why we do such a scary Oni festival in Japan? Basically for getting the kids to behave better. Since these festivals were started hundreds or even thousands years ago, they might seem a little outdated. But don't worry, thanks to modern technology, you can scare your kids anywhere, anytime. We have an app called Oni app. Parents usually use it, make a phone call to Oni. My friend, when her kid was kind of like whining and trying to fight with her sister, and then she took out the phone and then said, I'm gonna have to call the Oni-san.
Hey, I'm Oni!
Oni-san, my kid is not listening to me. I don't know what I should do. Really? I want to talk to your kid.
I heard you are not listening to your mom. Do you want to talk to me?
When I saw my friend kids crying, I think she peed in the pants or something. I felt bad, but at the same time, I felt so funny. Of course, this app works perfectly when the kid is very little, but when they grow up, you have to have even more extreme way to teach your kids.
部屋片付けなさいって言ったでしょ。はあ、だるいんですけど。28、パパのことなんか聞いてられへんから、もうほっとってくれる？電話しないといけないかな。誰かに電話すんの？お兄でも？やってみたら？やってみたら？
Konnichiwa. Anata wa kawaii desu. Japanese girl, ski desu. You.
Yes, this guy definitely freaks out Japanese girls, but this next weird Japanese thing has freaked a lot of foreigners out. Many people have a fear of being naked in public. But what if I told you that that's super normal in Japan? Of course, you are not gonna see people just walking around naked in public. However, there is one place where everyone gets naked.
Oh, right, that's what I'm talking about.
And that's the public bath in Japan. Of course, the baths are separated between men and women.
Well, it's a good thing that I play for both teams.
But with so much advanced technology, Japanese people have in their own bathrooms, like tubs that fill up themselves and then keep the water at the perfect temperature for hours. Why would they even want to take a bath in a place like this? First, let me tell you a little about the history of public bathing in Japan. Sento started in the year 500. It was originally made by monks for purifying their body, but the Japanese really enjoyed cleaning their body in the bath, so some business people started public sento baths for everybody in Edo period. At the time, it was common for everyone to get naked in front of each other. So you would see naked men,
Yeah.
naked women,
This just keeps getting better.
and even naked children.
Jackpot.
Wait, what was the last one?
FBI, open up!
Even though Sento is hundreds of years old, we still do it to this day, and it's an important part of Japanese culture. Of course, I highly recommend that you try it out too. But I know that getting naked with complete strangers and taking a bath together can be terrifying for some foreigners visiting Japan. I still remember very clearly one of my best friends from Australia. And she was living in Japan, and then one day I asked her, "Hey Katie, do you want to try a very Japanese thing?" I said, "Sure, sure, sure." We took her to the very traditional Sento public bath, and then when we opened the door, she was like stunned.
Oh, everybody's naked. Oh my gosh.
I don't think I could do that. So I asked her, "How are you feeling when you opened the door of the Sento bath?" She was never ever be able to take off her clothes in front of her friends or even family. So for her, it was like shocking Japanese culture. We even have super public bath. It's actually like a public bath theme park with baths that look like they are from ancient Greece or spa houses in Finland. A lot of these kinds of places have a variety of different baths that you can enjoy, like outdoor baths. So you basically take a bath outside, like almost like in nature. It's very nice and beautiful. Mr.'s favorite bath is electric baths. They have some metal things inside the bath, and then that metal thing shoots electricity in the water. So when you get closer to the metal thing, you actually feel the electricity. Some of you might be wondering if we go to a public bath with our friends or family. Yes! For Japanese, going to a Sento bath with your friends makes the bond stronger. They even wash each other's back in the bath too. I'm sure for a lot of you, this is really weird and you might be uncomfortable just thinking about it. But this next thing, we do it all the time, actually annoys foreigners coming to Japan. Of course, you probably know that in Japan and some other Asian countries, it's a custom to take off the shoes off in the house. But where Japan is different is in the many rules that are related to shoes, socks, and even your bare feet. First, Japan takes shoes rules very seriously. We even have a very specific room in our house called the genkan, where you have to take off your shoes. We do this because shoes are seen as dirty in Japan. In many countries around the world, you wouldn't remove your shoes before coming into someone's house unless they were really dirty. But as I mentioned earlier, other Asian countries do this. Even Mr. Eats family did it in the US. But taking off your shoes isn't just for the house. Some nice restaurants and even doctor's offices will also make you take off your shoes before entering. Something that surprised many of my foreign friends is when they see the shoes lockers at some of these places. Yes, there are special lockers for you to put your shoes in, and you get a key so you can open it later. It's also really important not to come into someone else's house barefoot. Yes, walking around someone else's house with no socks or indoor slippers on is seen as very rude. So what do you do if you're wearing sandals and someone invites you to their house? Well, you should bring a pair of clean socks with you and put them on in the genkan to show respect to your host. And it's super important to make sure your socks don't have holes in them either. Please! Even one of the biggest electronic stores in Japan called Edion has a policy where any of the employees who enters your home has to put on a pair of clean white socks first. But the inside of the house isn't the only place where being barefoot is a bad thing. In many Japanese homes and even some Japanese businesses, there are slippers for the toilets. Yes, these slippers are used only in the toilet, and you should never go in there barefoot or wear the toilet slippers outside of the toilet room. Again, this is to keep the dirty stuff from being spread all over the house. Of course, it's understandable if you think all these rules are just too much. In fact, my friends from the UK struggled with all these shoe and slipper rules when they came to Japan, and I think it drove them crazy. But Japanese shoe culture isn't the only thing that seems crazy for non-Japanese, because I was so surprised when I saw a lady in Tokyo complaining about this next one. But before I get to that, let's take a snack break and enjoy amazing snacks from Tokyo Treats! This monthly snack subscription box is filled with latest, exclusive, and seasonal flavored Japanese snacks.
This month theme is Osaka Snackation. So Osaka is my hometown, and if you love to eat, good and a little bit cheaper food, come to Osaka. Or if you can't, please try this month's subscription box. These snacks particularly caught my eyes: orange Kit Kat and takoyaki snack. So takoyaki is a savory dough ball filled with octopus. This is our soul food in Osaka. Wow, I love this. The included culture guidebook talk about where you have to visit. This is one of my favorite places in Osaka. You also gotta check out these traditional Japanese snacks from Sakurako. This month theme is mochi and fruits marbles. And it has some great, amazing Japanese traditional snacks made by artisans in Japan. Every box comes with this beautiful tableware, and this specific pottery is called mino-yaki, which is very, very popular among a lot of Japanese people. And this month theme is genmai cha, roasted green tea with some roasted rice puffs too. Smells so roasty. These are the perfect gifts for your Japanese loving friends or family.
Use my code Mrs. Eats and the link in the description to save $5 on your first box. As I talked about in a previous video, lines are one of the most important things that you have to respect when visiting Japan. It's not just a necessary part of Japanese life, but it's an art form. In fact, my friends from the UK had the funniest reaction when they saw how Japanese people lined up. We are hanging out one of the busiest area in Tokyo. They saw a long line in the middle of the busy city. So they asked me what the line means. They are just waiting for getting on the bus at the bus stop. But they said, "Oh my gosh, it's amazing! I can't believe they do it so beautifully. It's almost like a art." And if it's in the UK, everybody will spread and then block the small path like this. Unbelievable! That was the funniest reaction I saw, because for Japanese people, lining straight everywhere is very normal. They told me that in the UK, people will just spread. I was very surprised to hear that. Wow, is this only in Japan? I don't know. Please let me know in the comment. Even Americans were surprised about our queue culture.
The train system that they have there, which is amazing. One of the things that they did is they would line up in perfectly straight lines. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody follows the rules. They're
Right.
always exactly in line. It's just simply like efficiency.
Right.
But everybody lining up in the right line where they're supposed to stand, where they're supposed to go.
Right.
Like it's
It
the
makes
efficient thing to
entering
do.
and exiting the train as clean and simple as possible. Even at Starbucks, of course, again, straight lines. So they form a perfectly straight line at the register, and they would form another line, and they would pick up their coffees in the order that they were ordered.
As a Japanese, I never have to think about, we have to line up. Because it's so normal for us. When you get into elementary school or even kindergarten, you will learn how to line up. I think the reason why Japanese people line up is because it's easier for you and then others. Like when you take a train, there are a lot of people getting off from the train and loads of people getting on the train using the same entrance. So if both of them try to get out and get in, it can create chaos. You bump each other, push each other, and not very peaceful. But if you wait until other passengers get off of the train and then you enter, it make it easy for everyone. Also, take a look at this video that was taken right after a big earthquake in Japan. Hundreds of people were stranded, but they all managed to wait in straight lines hours to get home. But not everyone seems to like Japan's lineup culture. When I was waiting in line to use the bathroom in Osaka the other day, and then there was like 7 people waiting in front of me, and then there was a foreign lady came in and screamed, "Oh my gosh, there's a line in the bathroom too!" I was, whoa! When you come to Japan, lining up is pretty normal. So prepare your mind, you will have to be lining up. And also, I think for a lot of Japanese people wouldn't scream in that kind of situation because screaming wouldn't help you, right? If you scream and then suddenly you become like a mose and then you have a, clear line suddenly in front of you, of course, saying out loud works.
I have to pee!
but for us, that wouldn't change the situation. So why do you do that for? Of course, this woman and many other non-Japanese might find our lineup culture to be a bit weird. But do you know what normal things many foreign countries have that Japanese find strange? Facial hair culture. Yes, if you look around Japan, you will rarely see Japanese men with a mustache or a beard. In fact, these two Japanese guys got fired from one of the biggest train companies for refusing to shave. So why do Japanese seem to be so uncomfortable with something so natural? And what other normal things do people do in other countries that make Japanese people so uncomfortable? I talk all about it in this video here, so check it out. Thanks for watching. Okini!